Trae Young. You've heard the name, you've seen the highlights, and if you're a basketball fan, you've likely debated his place in the NBA hierarchy. But here's the real question: how does a player with excellent stats, incredible performances, and undeniable talent still fly under the radar when it comes to discussions about the league's top stars? This isn't just about the numbers, though they're impressive. It's about the perception or misperception surrounding Trae Young. Let's break it down and uncover why one of the NBA's brightest stars is also one of its most underrated. When you look at Trae's stats, you're staring at elite production. Averaging 26.7 points and 10.5 assists per game isn't just good, it's superstar material. That's a level of consistency most players can't touch. Yet somehow his name doesn't come up as often as it should when people talk about the league's top-tier talent. People love to criticize Trae for his shooting percentages, but they ignore the fact that he's responsible for generating almost all of Atlanta's offense. Whether he's scoring or setting up his teammates, it all runs through him. One fan from East Point put it like this, quote, "He's not just putting up empty numbers. Look at the assists. He's creating opportunities for others, which shows he's not just about himself. That's a leader on the court." Yet critics still find ways to downplay his contributions, often focusing on his efficiency. The obsession with efficiency misses the bigger picture. Trae is taking on a massive load for his team. Of course, his percentages will take a hit. It's the nature of his role. For us to get a bigger picture, we have to first take a quick look at Trae's beginning from Norman High. At Norman North High School, Trae was the go-to guy. His senior year stats, 26 points and 8.6 assists per game, turned heads everywhere. At Oklahoma University, he didn't just play, he dominated. His freshman season saw him lead the nation in scoring and assists with 27.4 points and 8.7 assists per game. That kind of record isn't just rare, it's legendary for someone his age. Trae joined the NBA in 2018, drafted by Dallas, but sent to the Atlanta Hawks the same night. Since then, his game has been about two things: long-range shooting and smart passes. Last season, he averaged 25.7 points, 10.8 assists, and 2.8 rebounds. His three-point shooting, at 37%, shows he's a reliable scorer from deep, even if his overall shooting percentage of 43% could improve. Still, with 10.8 assists per game and an assist percentage that exceeds 40%, Trae shows he's as much about teamwork as personal stats. Some people think his shot choices need work, but those who understand the game see those risks as what makes him exciting to watch. Trae Young is hard to miss on the court. His scoring ability, the long three-pointers, the clever passes, he's one of the best offensive players around. But despite all this, people still have a different opinion about this player. Now let's look at his critics' major reason, his defensive play. This is something that's been sentimentally pointed out since he entered the league. Trae is amazing offensively, but defensively, he's got some work to do. Agreed. But comments made on this player because of his defense have gone too far. One fan from Atlanta said, quote, "Trae is great on offense, but when it comes to defense, he's like a turnstile. Teams attack him over and over again." What? Come on, this isn't true. A reporter in talking about Trae's defense even said, quote, "It's not a one-off thing. This is something that happens all the time. The defense just isn't there." What? I mean, are we talking about the same player that had a 5-steal game against the Kings and followed it up with a 3-steal game against the Blazers in November 2019? I mean, this player scores 30 points a game. If he doesn't lock down a few shooters, so what? His offense has been one of the major things that has kept us in the game. Yes, you don't need to be a stats nerd to see that Trae's defense needs a little improvement. But to put it like Trae is the problem here really is a bogus comment to make. Now let's look at why this player is truly amazing, and let's do the math. Firstly, Trae's shooting ability. Trae's shooting from almost half court is known to change how defenses work. Fans believe his shooting opens up space for his teammates. A sports writer once said, quote, "Young's mistakes come because he's pushing the game forward, and that's why he's different." Others point out his 43% field goal percentage shows he's not perfect, but his ability to find open players makes up for it. His free throw accuracy, 85.5%, and his usage rate, which has been around 33 to 35%, which is among the league's highest, shows his clutch when it matters most. Local fans in Atlanta often say, when Trae shoots, the energy in the arena shifts. You can feel it, and you know this is really true. Secondly, Trae has leadership qualities, and although this is debated by some, those who have eyes can see it. Trae's leadership has been a hot topic in NBA circles, with some questioning his ability to guide a team. Leadership isn't just about being perfect, it's about growing into the role. Trae's still young, but he has and is still showing that he can handle the pressure. The mistakes he makes now will only make him better in the long run. Critics point to reports of locker room tension as a red flag, but those close to the team know better that anytime you have a young star, there will be growing pains. What is important is how he learns from those experiences, and Trae has shown that he's willing to adapt. If there's one thing Trae Young is known for, it's performing under pressure, walking into Madison Square Garden and silencing one of the most hostile crowds in sports takes a special kind of player. Quote, "I was at that game," recalled a Knicks fan from Tribeca. "Watching him own the court in front of thousands of screaming New Yorkers was surreal. As much as it hurt to see my team lose, you had to respect what he did." That series against the Knicks wasn't just about basketball. It was about Trae showing he could handle the spotlight and thrive in it. That's what separates good players from great ones. But why is this player still so underrated? Well, there are still some other reasons apart from his defense. But these reasons are purely unreasonable. First off, the Luka Doncic comparison. The Trae Young versus Luka Doncic debate has followed both players since they entered the league. While Luka tends to get more media love, Trae's contributions are just as significant, if not more. Luka is a great player, no doubt about that, but people act like Trae doesn't have his own unique strengths. His court vision, his ability to manipulate defenses is unbelievable at times. The comparison is frustrating because it overlooks what Trae has achieved. There are two different types of players with different skill sets. Why not appreciate both? People have finally agreed that the comparison has unfairly changed public perception of Trae. Quote, "It's like Luka gets a free pass for everything while Trae is constantly scrutinized. The double standard is exhausting, but that is not all. Let's not forget one of the most biased people on the planet, the media. The media has a high percentage of input in how players are seen by both fans and the public, and for Trae Young, it feels like the coverage doesn't match the impact he has on the court. The media loves a certain type of story, and Trae's just doesn't fit. He's not controversial enough, and he doesn't have the flashy off-court persona they like to market. He just plays basketball and plays it well. It's frustrating how the league and the media push certain players while ignoring others. Trae deserves more recognition for what he's done, but he doesn't get it because he's not part of their narrative. But all these reasons are not close to being unreasonable as this last one. Trae Young is both adored and despised, depending on who you ask. Atlanta fans see him as the savior of their franchise, but outside of Georgia, he's often painted as the villain. Trae has this unapologetic swagger that rubs people the wrong way. But honestly, that's what makes him so compelling. He's not here to make friends, he's here to win. In Atlanta, his confidence is seen as strength. Trae celebrates his successes because he works hard for them. Call it cocky if you want, but when you're that good, you've earned the right to celebrate. Still, his polarizing reputation has made some people that are quite good at misjudging things to do what they're good at. Some of these people mistake Trae's passion for arrogance. But if you've ever played or coached at a high level, you know that kind of fire is what drives greatness. Also, Trae's more than a basketball player in Atlanta. He's a symbol of hope. His charity work and connection with fans have earned him respect off the court. Local fans often say he feels like part of the community, not just someone playing for the city. Another reason that shows how committed this player is to his city was in the playoffs in 2021. His clutch performances proved he's a leader in tough moments. While some people think he needs to polish his game, his influence and style leave no doubt he's one of the most important young players right now. In Atlanta, Trae Young isn't just a player, he's a symbol of transformation. His arrival brought about something new for the Hawks, and the city has embraced him wholeheartedly. Trae's connection with Atlanta is special. He's not just a star on the court, but he's also a part of the community. You see him at events, engaging with fans, giving back. It's clear he cares about the city. Before Trae, the Hawks didn't have an identity. Now they're a team people actually care about, and that's because of him. At the end of the day, the disrespect Trae Young had been receiving was totally undeserved. He's a player who puts his heart and soul into the game, delivers when it matters most, and has single-handedly brought back a franchise. People can say what they want about Trae, but his impact speaks for itself. He's not just a great player, he's a game changer, and one day everyone will realize that. What about you? What do you think? Is Trae Young really worth the attention? And can he finally prove his critics wrong and become who he is really meant to be seen as? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel so that you will always get our latest updates on the NBA's most exciting players and debates. Let's talk basketball together.